So today I'll be talking about carbon catabolism, and the goal of this process is to produce ATP. This process could be broken in three parts: glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain. This process is taken by carbs. They are the major source of a lot of chemoorganotropes, and glucose is the most preferred carbohydrate. That can be broken into pyruvic acid by a process called glycolysis. Glucose is made of 6 carbons, and when this glucose is broken, it produces 2 NADH and 2 ATP. And also, as a result of this broken, we're gonna have pyruvic acid that is composed of 3 carbons. Further, pyruvic acid can have 2 pathways. It can take the fermentation route where the oxygen is not required, and then pyruvic acid will be converted into acids and or alcohols plus NAD plus. This NAD plus is what allows glycolysis to happen again and produce more ATP in the fermentation. Or pyruvic acid can take another step, that would be the respiration step. In this process, pyruvic acid is broken, and then which is going to result in acetyl-CoA and carbon dioxide. That is a waste and is going to leave. In the Krebs cycle, acetyl-CoA is broken, and which is going to result in 2 ATPs, 6 NADH, and 2 FADH2. The production of these coenzymes, FADH and ADH, will be carried to the electron transport chain. The difference between ATPs in these 3 different processes is ATP in the glycolysis and ADP in the Krebs cycle are generated by what is called substrate level phosphorylation. Which means that the phosphate group is removed from the organic molecule and add to ADP and turns into ATP. It is different from the electron transport chain, where the ATP is generated by oxidative phosphorylation. That is a result of transfer electrons of NADH or an FADH. In electron transport chain, oxygen is reduced to water, and this process also releases ATP. But this process is known as aerobic respiration because it requires oxygen. In a respiration, the goal of the respiration is to gather energy from electron transport systems to generate more ATP. In prokaryotes, it happens in a membrane with the cytoplasm. In eukaryotes, this process is part of the mitochondria. So here we have a membrane, and we have transport protein or electron carriers. And here we have ATP synthase. So what happens here, we're going to have an electron donor that is going to be reduced. As an example, we have NADH. This NADH will be oxidized, which is going to result in NAD+. This electron, the electron that is going to be transferred to the transport proteins is going to be further, it's going to go across the membrane, and this process of this energy release is going to result in protons crossing this transport protein, which is going to cause electrogradient, and also is going to change the pH of the outside of the membrane and inside of the membrane, because this part is going to, with a lot of protons, will become more acidic. And while electrons are passing through across the membrane, they're going to reach to the photoreceptor. Here we have an aerobic response, receptor. There would be oxygen. They would be reduced to water. In an anaerobic process, could have many possibilities. Here's an example. We have nitrate would be reduced to nitrite. So during this process across the membrane, we're going to have energy that here is going to be more negative, and then it's going to turn in more positive. Also, so since protons are in one side, they should want to be balanced. Since they were forced to cross this membrane to the other side, they are not happy with this, so they want to be balanced. So in the way they can come back to the other side, they have a channel where they can cross. It's called ATP synthase. They have an opening here which allows those protons to cross through a process called chemiosmosis. This process of those protons crossing this ATP synthase, this rotation results in kinetic energy. And this kinetic energy creates a bond between ADP plus a phosphate group, which results in more ATP. Since from the beginning of the process that we have like two ATPs, more ATP here, and more ATP here. This is the one that form the most ATP, and which could be around between 36 and 38 ATP produced through this whole process of carbon catabolism. Thank you.